Wanna know how to make a girl feel right? Want her to scream your name during sex every night? Well then there's just one thing you're gonna have to do. You simply must make that girl wanna scream for you. Pelvic thrust and thrust and thrust and thrust. 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 There's so many different ways to fuck a girl right in the vag, in the ass, or in the mouth. Positions that came from the past. Positions that we learned from porn sites or even from sex ed class. Positions that we learned from our mothers fucking porno mags and drowning in the pussy. Bitches love it though. They don't say stop even when I'm pounding up the wrong hole. They end up needing wheelchairs cause of our excessive fucking. I call that technique the Stephen Hawking. Bitch, please, you're so hot. Suck on my dick, please. Lick these nuts after you give me a strip tease. If I come into a cup, that means that you get to sip ski. But there's no cup to be found, so take my dick to your lips, please. I'ma come inside your mouth, so just swallow that shit, please. I don't wanna clean it up, so don't you dare fucking spit these microscopic RJ Morph Juniors onto the floor, you dirty whore. Cause if you do, I'm gonna show you the door. No way, come back. I wanna TD fuck your rack. Then you turn round, bend over, and let me give your ass a slap. Then I'ma use my hard dick to give your ass another smack. I just regret one thing, that you're not Christy Mack, cause she's a babe. I'd make her my sex slave. With her help, I'd make my own version of 50 Shades of Grey. And for this film, I'd probably invite Katy Perry, Ariana Grande, Kesha, Iggy, and maybe Fergie. What a beautiful day this could be. For now, it's just a fantasy. Too bad, cause I'd also invite Audrey Bittany. Ashton Brooks would also be hired if she weren't retired from the porn industry. Why aren't we signing a petition to get her back? I'm wishing for her return to do a scene with Christy Mack. My vision for higher quality porn ain't even bad. I listen for sounds of sex in my street before I fab. And when you find the right sound I can jerk off to, it's the sound of a good girl getting screwed. Pelvic thrust and thrust and thrust and thrust. 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 So many different chicks with the hipster glasses, so classy, makes me wanna grab their asses, get nasty. I wanna meet that Iggy chick, her ass is so fancy. Give me 3 hours and I'll make her feel fantastic. I don't give a fuck if her ass is made of plastic. In the end, I'm still gonna make her feel the magic. When I'm done with her, she's gonna feel ecstatic. If she wants my dick again, I'ma let her have it. She can grab it, suck on it, then slap it onto her tiny titties. Lick the tip before she faps it, jerking back and forth while she smacks it onto her cheeks before she lets me put it in her ass. Yup, they say you are what you eat. I think that phrase could be why even though I look 30, I'm a 16-year-old pussy. But I ain't 16 though, I'm in my 20s. Them hoes ain't though, by law there must be at least 16 when we fuck. Even when I wanna stick it up their butt. In Queensland though, you must be 18 for anal. What the fuck? That's why I like to live in New South Wales. You can fuck teen girls up the ass without fearing jail. I might move to Queensland, that's why I looked it up, to get a heads up of what I can and can't do when I fuck. 16 with a good pussy, I can't get enough. I hope you shave, cause I wanna go down and munch. I drown in cunt. I'll always be down to hunt for more pussy. Hey girl, you down to fuck? If you suck my dick, I'm gonna make you drown in cum. You're so hot, I doubt I'll ever be aroused enough. At least I can still fuck chicks with their driver's license. Them hoes be playing with my gear shift while they driving. I bust a load so fucking big, they call me fire hydrant. If they say they don't wanna fuck, I ask them why they're lying. Cause I know what good girls crave. They crave a bad boy to fuck their problems away. Pelvic thrust and thrust and thrust and thrust. 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 Roses are red, your waffle is blue. Clean that shit up, or no sex for you. Don't assume I'm joking, and don't be calling me mean, because you don't get my dick until your pussy is clean. So clean that pussy, clean that pussy. Clean it up, or you don't get to see my woody. Clean that pussy, clean that pussy. Cause you don't get to see my woody, motherfucker. And if your twat's clean, there's just one thing left to do. That's to enjoy the nasty things I'm gonna do to you. Pelvic thrust and thrust and thrust and thrust. 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 Pelvic thrust and thrust and thrust and